Guys, RageBarTV here with another video, and this is the one you've all been waiting for. An updated Frost Whisperer guide on what you need to do to be the best Frost Whisperer you can possibly be, updated to the current patch, April 16th, 2020. So, it's going to be quite a bit of a long video. I am making this video on the fly, so please note you may hear me go over things a couple times. I will try to follow a set pattern. It's going to be a long video. If you already know how to do something, skip to the next step in the video. I'll try to talk slower to make it able to do that. So, first off, we're going to start with our skills, and we're going to go down the list. So, skills are very important as a Frost Whisperer. There is a skill priority that you need to follow. That priority is as follows. Ice Spike is your first skill to level 9, okay? If you can get it to level 10, it's your first skill to level 10. Frostbolt is your second skill to level 9, your second skill to level 10. Third, it's a toss-up between Ring of Frost and Frozen Sphere. If you have all skills level 9, you're fine. Eventually, if you're just updating these, you would go Ice Spike, Frostbolt, Ring of Frost, Frozen Sphere, Ice Storm, level up your Teleport, Ice Block last. When you want a level 10 skill, when you get your Raging Soul and your Raging Soul and your Void Soul to upgrade your skill, you want to get your Ice Spike, then your Frostbolt, then again probably your Ring of Frost, Frozen Sphere, and then Ice Storm. Teleport and Ice Block are at the last. As you can see, I've got all level 10 except for those two. That's pretty much it for skills and your level priority. Your engraving, we're going to start from Frostbolt. The best engraving to use is Sharp, the bottom one. Frostbolt deals 5% increased damage. It's a must. We cast Frostbolt the most. You need it to do the most damage. Ring of Frost, use Sharp. There's a pattern with this, as you'll be able to see. Ring of Frost deals 5% increased damage. It works great with your 2 set and with your 1 and your 4 set of your T1 and T2 sets. Ice Storm. Again, I use Sharp. If I'm PvPing, I'll use Cleave. If it's more than 2 people, or sorry, if it's more than 4 people, so like Serenity Shrine, Increst Highlands, Dark Wind Dusks, all that stuff. So yeah, you use Sharp for PvE, Cleave for PvP. Frozen Sphere, I use Agile. Lowering the cooldown on Frozen Sphere is utmost importance. That's how I get a steady stream of Ice Spike procs to keep my DPS high. Teleport, Agile. I personally like to teleport faster and more often, so I use that. You may also use Delay if you're getting hit like a truck, but again, that's PvP. I use Agile for both. Ice Block, again, Agile. It's good to be able to Ice Block if you're taking a lot of damage. And Ice Spike, 2 very important engravings that you need. Sharp for single target bosses, and Cleave for trash and bosses that have multiple bosses, i.e., Lost Forest Adventure or Lost Forest Overlord. Last boss has Naui and Deck. 2 bosses, you need to be using Cleave. It's situational, but use it for trash and bosses with more than 1 target. Inscriptions, again, we'll start with Frostbolt. So, how inscriptions work is you can get 1 inscription unlocked when you unlock a corresponding 2 inscriptions, and you can embed 2 inscriptions when you have 5 total inscriptions unlocked. So the easiest way to do that is to unlock the ones you're going to use. So on Frostbolt, you'll use Frostbane and Advanced Bash, and then open up the cheapest ones you can. As you can see, they're all green. It only cost me 100 inscription charge to open them. They're not used. They just allow me to embed 2 skills into a... they allow me to inscript 2 inscriptions into a skill. Ring of Frost, you're going to go with Advanced Brutal Force and Advanced Tranquil Mind to reduce the cooldown and increase the damage. Ice Storm, it's PvP related. Ice Cyclone, if you can. The damage multiplier helps a lot, and it sucks everyone into your Ice Storm, so it does kind of help in PvE, but it's more for PvP. And Advanced Brute Force to increase the skill's damage. Frozen Sphere, Advanced Brutal Force, Advanced Tranquil Mind. Teleport, again, I use self-healing and advanced self-healing. I teleport a lot, and it works great. Yeah. Ice block, we have advanced self-healing and advanced brutal force. Again, I like the self-healing and I like the increased constant healing, which helps a lot in PvP and PvE. And ice spike, one of the most important ones, advanced sharpness and sharpness. Everything else just unlock for the sake of unlocking it. To be able to embed 2 of these. So if I unload, as you can see, I can embed it, and I can pick 2 because I have 5 total inscriptions unlocked. You're only ever using 2. Next thing we're going to go over is your mastery. As a Frost Whisperer, our mastery is Chilly Cold, the one on the far right. The maximum upgrade of the ability is T4 level 46. The only benefit to get it to the max level of T4 level 50 is to get the extra vitality. That's about it. Other than that, I level up my other skills equally. So you get 50% of the attribute of a mastery you're not using. And that's just not for Frost Whisperer. That's for every class you play. So this one's at T4 level 8. I'll level it up. And I don't have enough to do the next one. So I just keep doing it back and forth until they're pretty much maxed out. Once everything's T4 level 50, you've reached the max. There's no extra damage increase from your main one that you have activated, as you can see here. For talents, this is going to be a little bit of a longer section. I use PvP talents and PvE talents. So for the PvE, this is technically my PvE spec. It just says PvP. So you want to put 10 in Bravery, 1 in Mana Torrent. Your goal with your artifact reforges is to get a total of +4 from 2 artifacts, +2 in each, to get your Mana Torrent to +5. 10 in Casting, 1 in Force Release. Again, same as Mana Torrent. Your goal is to get your first 4 artifacts to roll +2 Force Release on 2 of them. I use Saw Blade because I'm at a crit cap. Once you're above 70% crit without being in a dungeon, you want to put all of your damage abilities and crit into crit damage so that you're already critting a ton. You want those crits to do more damage. So if you're a new player and your crit is not above 70%, I would go 6 and 4, meaning 6 into Sharp Edge and 4 into Saw Blade. Once your crit is above 70% without the help of Sharp Edge, I would go straight into Saw Blade and get that extra 10% crit damage. Next ability I would use is Ruthless, because you deal 5% increased damage to targets below 20%. That's awesome. Spell Penetration helps a lot. Make sure your skills aren't being resisted. Dying Strike, a very important one. The first 4 rotations for your artifacts for reforging, so Fleonis, Dello, Kai, and what's the last one? Endura, they can only roll be rolled +2 Mana Torrent and +2 Force Release. Your Artinos, Harma, and Brekka can roll +2 Dying Strike. Remember, if you get a +1 Dying Strike, use it and then keep rolling until you get a +2. It's a very rare trait to get. If you can get it to +5, you deal 15% more damage, but you also take 6% more damage. You're in PvE. Who cares if you take more damage? You have healers. The next talent you want is Witchcraft. And lastly, you want Opportunity Attacks. And again, Opportunity Attacks can only be rolled on the last 3 artifacts. So Harma, Artinos, and Brekka. That's where you want to roll your Dying Strikes and your Opportunity Attacks. So, your next set of talents will be in Strategist. It'll be 22, so your build is 55-0-22. You're going to put 10 into Cunning to get your hit rate up above 100% on level 84 monsters or bosses. Readiness, I choose Readiness, but you can choose whatever one you want. Readiness is, it gets me out of a crowd control effect just in case I mess up a boss mechanic, or I'm not paying attention, or I jump or teleport into another mechanic. I can stop that from happening. Next is Precision. Precision is a very important skill. The Precision ability allows you to do the same amount of damage to all level bosses. The first boss of any dungeon is level 82. The second boss is level 83, and the third boss is level 84. So if you're noticing, oh, I'm doing so much damage on the first boss, but by the second and third boss, my damage goes to a quarter, or goes to a half, and then a quarter of what I was doing on the first boss, that's because you don't have enough precision. The more precision you have, which you get from having sacred gear or legendary weapons and offhand, that would allow you to get more precision. You can't really find it too much on epic gear or anything like that, but your goal is to have all sacred pieces in all your gear. The last talent I choose is Field Doctor. This has no bearing on anything. The tooltip reads wrong. It says you gain 20% of your haste rating as resilience rating, as in PvP resilience. It's actually resistance. So you get PvP resistance. It literally doesn't help you. It boosts your rating a little bit. If you are using teleport in your rotation, I would use Tactical Plan. It gives you a 4 second, but it says 3 seconds, but it's 4 seconds after you teleport. You get increased critical strike chance by 5%, which is great if you're using teleport in your rotation. That's pretty much it for talents. The next thing we're going to go into is sigils. Now, my sigils are a little bit different, but you can follow this if you're just starting out too. So, the middle sigils, you want to go for Strength, Int, X stat. It doesn't matter. Dodge, crit resist, whatever you get. You care about max stat for strength and int in all three of the middle ones. So as you can see, I've got crit resist, I've got crit resist, I've got resistance rate, and I've got dodge. It doesn't matter. I'm looking at the plus 99 in each. That's what's going to give me the biggest boost. In my red sigils, I want strength and int as well. Plus 49 is the max. Then you can get plus 33, plus 33. I'm still rolling for those. It does take time. And then you have your blue ones. You want all crit rate. You want all crit in all three. And your yellow, you want all crit rate as well. All three. 0.95 is the max. Unless you get a level 6, it'll go to 0.12%. In the sigil pouch, you can batch dismantle your sigils, as I'll do right here, and hit batch dismantle. And how I can do this is I go to sigil. Once I get the sigils I need in each spot, so once I embed these all properly, I want to just dismantle everything else, go to sigil, and hit quick merge. Turn on the 1, 2, 3 so that it keeps dismantling those, and hit merge. It'll keep dismantling 1, 2, and 3 shards until I run out, and then it'll give me a one that I may or may not need. I'll go back and check. No, I don't need that one, so I move on. So that's how you do quick merge in the best effective way. Look at your sigil shards at the top. If you have a bunch, use quick merge. I would only use quick merge once I synthesize 10 of them and match the runes. So you don't want to be getting rid of levels 1 to 3 if you don't have the correct sigils already equipped. Even if it's not the max one, you still want to have it because it gives it a higher chance to give you an upgrade for that sigil. Now we're going to move on to runes. Runes are very, very important for PvE and for PvP. I have runes for both. We're just going to be doing PvE runes. So the first one you want to get is Book 14. For almost all of your runes, you want Book 14. That's your attack rune, and you want to get the first one you want to get gold is Mark of Assault. It gives you a great damage increase when you have all gold runes. Now, all these runes are only good if you can fill the books. So just because you have Book 14, if you can't make all of these active by matching the runes, don't use the book. Use something like attack 2 or something like that. It gives you pretty much the same, but it costs less for runes. Runes are an end game mechanic that's going to give you a ton of rating end game. Early game, if you're spending money, definitely do your runes. It's going to give you the biggest rating increase you can ever get. Witness, I use Blood of Onslaught, again, Book 14, but if you can't afford Book 14 because you can't socket all the runes correctly, use a lower level rune, or use a lower level riddle. Same thing for Remembrance, Book 14. Same thing for Glory, Book 14. Brilliant, I actually switch it up on Brilliant. On Brilliant, you can use Book 13 or Book 14, depending on what you need. Prayer of Vines gives you haste, but Prayer of Pain gives you crit. So you choose what you want to use. I need crit, so I use that one. I actually don't know why it switched. I did have that one selected. Just one sec here. So see how I matched it all up, and now it's giving me Prayer of Pain. It increases my crit rate. That's what I want. I have so much haste, I don't need it. Seal, I use Song of Oblivion. After you get gold runes in Origin for Mark of Assault, your next one is Seal, because gold runes gives you 200 wild power. That is massive. You need that. It's great. It gives you a huge damage increase. With this new patch, if you watched my last video, you have the Chapter of the Faith. as a DPS, your goal is to roll the attack rune type 3, which will then give you crit, increase all runes, increase wild power rating by 200 when you have all gold runes, 100 when you have all purple, which is still a huge damage increase. That's the book you want to be using in the last one. Spirits is a new thing that was just released. Again, I explained this in my last video, but pretty much right now you're going to use whatever you can to socket the spirit that you can. So fill it up. You can swap them when we start getting more things. That's pretty much it for runes for PvE. Next thing we're going to cover is artifacts. Artifacts are very important. You need to level up your artifacts in an orderly fashion, meaning you want to get your Mercy maxed out, then your Endura, then your Delo, then your Kai, then your Artinos, then your Harma, which I'm working on now, and finally your Brekka. Brekka is end game. I've tested it, I've reset it, I've retested it. I tried filling out Brekka first. My rating went up 0. It doesn't matter which one you level up first. So just start with what you can and start filling it out. Make sure you're using the top left to purify. You're going to do your tainted creatures every day. If you're spending money, you're going into bonus, you're going to Eurovault, and you're buying anything that says tainted energy. You're going to the shop, you're getting those diamond enhancement packs that give you tainted energy. That's how you're going to level this up faster. It's minor rating increase, but it's nickel and diming. You know, you get pets, you get toys, you get mounts that increase your rating by small amounts until eventually you're up 1,000 rating because you got all the books and all the sceneries and all the mounts and everything. But that's all in here, and you'll find all that stuff too. As you can see, it's almost maxed out for me. You have sceneries, bounties, all that good stuff, archaeology, and toys. So, artifacts. Reforging, the most important thing to do. How reforging works is, as you can see, I have my +2 force release. I don't care about the tier 1 talent. When I'm first rolling my artifacts, I care about what's rolling on the bottom. So I'm going to keep rolling until I either get, if I don't even have a +1 mana torrent or a +1 force release, I will roll this specific artifact, which is Blessing of Flonus, until I get +1 mana torrent or +1 force release, and then I'll move to Endura. Rinse and repeat, and then Delo, and then Kai, and that's it. Once you get to Artinos, Harma, and Brekka, you're rolling different things, as you can see. Only the first 4 artifacts you can roll +2 force release and +2 mana torrent. So, my first one, I happen to roll +2 on the first one. If you roll +2 on the +2 mana torrent on the first, use it. That's fine. All that means is when you go to Endura, you want to roll another +2 mana torrent or +2 force release, whatever comes first. Use the +1 until you get that done. Once all of these are matched up correctly to have +5 in each talent, which you saw on the talent board, then I would work on Artinos, Harma, and Brekka. That is end game. It takes a lot of money and rolls to transfer your rune essences into what you need. How do you transfer your rune essences? You go into inventory, event, that one I just clicked, Boltzmann, and you can exchange under Essence Exchange. So you can exchange whatever you have into the one you need, and that's how you turn in normal Fleonus essence into Artinos, Brekka, and Harma. But that's end game. Again, end game, so I'm end game, so I'm going to transfer 25 in. It's really expensive. As you can see, I did 418, and I only got 25 Brekka Reforges. So you want to make sure all your other artifacts are good before you move on. The other way you can merge these is by going to your inventory, go to item, and scroll down to your purples until you find the essence, and click it and hit merge, and then you can merge them into whatever you want. So Fleonus into Endura. If you get enough Endura, you can merge them into Delo, Delo into Kai. And then after that, all your Kais, once you get the proper rolls, that's when you would go to your inventory. You would go to event. Again, Boltzmann, click him, Essence Exchange, and that's where you would change all your essences back into, since I see if I had Kai, it would give me 8 Flaeonus Essence, and then I can go down and start doing Harma, Artinos, and rolling those for the +2 Dying Strike or +2 Opportunity Attacks. Again, it doesn't matter which order they are in, as long as you have it on the bottom 3. +2 Dying Strike. If you get a +1, use it. Move on to the next artifact. If you get another +1 Opportunity Attacks, use it. And then keep reforging until you get the next one. Other than that, the next thing I'm going to go over, that covers all your gearing and everything like that. If you look at my equipment, you want to embed the best gems you can. You want to cleanse everything SS. Any tier pieces that you cleanse SS, when you upgrade it to tier 2, because you only have to craft your T1 one time. Once you craft T1, you just have to upgrade it from here on out. Same with the PvP accessories that I went over in an older video. Check those out. You'll be able to learn all about that. You want to roll SS on everything because it is max level at that point. It will stay with you until. Another new feature that they added was insufficient diamonds, meaning if you don't have enough soulbound jades, you can use 200 diamonds to roll it SS, or to get a chance to roll it SS. I wouldn't recommend doing it. It's a waste of diamonds. Just wait. A lot of this stuff rolling SS takes time. You can't do it in one day. Enchant, make sure everything's enchanted. As you can see, my offhand's not. And how do you find it? Again, you go to consignment. Okay, there's nothing there. Next, go to consignment. Nothing there. Nothing, and you just keep going down the list until you find the one that someone's selling, right? I'll do that after. Smelt. A lot of people have been asking me, how do you have all epic gear? Like, how are you keep increasing all of this? When you clear your Overlord dungeon, you're not looking for a piece upgrade. You're looking for what you have equipped, what is its item level. The piece I have equipped, what is its item level? So this is a 352 piece. I'm supposed to get a 366 piece today for clearing an OL 10. So, and by the way, OL means Overlord. For clearing Overlord 10, I'm getting a 366 piece. When I get my choice between 3 pieces, I'm not picking that piece because it has stats on it. No, I'm picking it because it has the highest eye level. So if I get 366 shoulders and they drop, I'm going to swap my shoulders if my current equipped piece is the lowest. So if your current equipped piece is 257 and you can get a 287 piece, take the 287 piece and smelt it, go into equipment, smelt, and smelt that piece using crystals up to 272. You use historic gear level, so the highest equipment that you received for that slot stays with your character. It is not recommended to make alts. You can do everything directly on the same character. Never make an alt. This game is loving alts. Watch my older video, you'll be able to see that. Last thing we're going to go over, everything else has been covered, is DPS rotation. Great, I have all the correct things. I have the correct artifact reforges, which is going to be your second biggest damage increase besides your runes. How do I do damage? What do I have to do? What's my starting rotation on a boss? So we'll get the healer buff here, because you'll always have a healer buff in the raid, so we might as well have it too. The green crystal gives you a healer buff. So, my rotation is starting off with Frostbolt 3 times to get 3 stacks of Mana Torrent. So, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then pop my pet ability, Ring of Frost, Ice Spike, Ring of Frost, Ice Spike, spam my Frostbolt. Spam my Frostbolt until I get Ice Spike, cast Ice Spike, cast Ice Spike. As you can see the DPS at the top here, I'm over 1 million, okay? Cast Ice Spike. And this is single target with a healer buff, which you will always have in a raid. Now, Frost Whisperer is very RNG. As you can see, I just spam Ice Spike, I just spam Frostbolt until I get an Ice Spike proc, and then I use it. There we go, there's another one. Frostbolt, Ring of Frost. Keep using it. And you just keep going. Ring of Frost is off cooldown. Use that. Or Frozen Sphere, sorry. Now, if I had Tactical Plan selected, I would throw a teleport in to get the buff, and I would keep going, and then get back in position. And you just keep DPSing. And as you can see, the buttons I'm pressing, so it's Frostbolt, until I get a nice Spike proc. If I'm really high on DPS, and I don't really care about losing too much DPS, I'll throw in an Ice Storm, just in my time off, just to get some more chances to proc Ice Spikes, because it's all RNG on how much Ice Spikes you're going to get. Once my Glacial ability comes up, I'll use that, in an ideal world, in a perfect situation, my pet ability and my ultimate will be of my soul power ability will be available. Also, if you use Iron Will, it gives you a damage increase for +2 damage. Once you update it to higher levels, you get more damage increase for using it. So in an even more perfect world, you would use Pet ability, Iron Will, and your freaking Glacial, and just spam instant cast Ice Bolts, Frost Bolts, use your Ice Storm, throw in your Ice Spikes. But as you can see, the buttons I'm pressing, that's about it. If I want to stop DPS, I just exit. In the corner, I hit clear. If you want to exit your target, right next to where I'm clicking on the map, that's how you change targets, which is great for PvP. If you don't want to target a tank, you just hit that and you can switch targets. But that's the rotation. If you're doing AoE, you just throw in Ice Storm. If you're doing an AoE ability, just throw in Ice Storm. There's nothing really that changes for that. That is pretty much it for DPS and everything that you would need to know to be a really good Frost Whisperer. If I didn't cover something properly or you need more help, please feel free to comment down below. Give me some video suggestions, something you need me to go over. I'm very responsive. I will respond to you if you private message me, either in-game if you're on my server. You can add me on Discord, RageBar94, hashtag 1996, and you can DM me there. And I do get a lot of messages, so please note if I don't get back to you right away. Yeah, that's about it. Hopefully this helps out people and you be a better Frost Whisperer. Comment, rate, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification to know when I post a new video, and have a great day.